sorry for the noise in the background, drying my shoes in the dryer. So, but you know, let me ask you something. What is DLC? Today, nowadays, what is DLC? Oh, that's right. The answer's right above you, or right above me. Downloadable content. Yep, says it right up there. Downloadable content. DLC, downloadable content. But is it really downloadable content? I mean, I know I did a video about this earlier when I talked about the whole Street Fighter Tekken controversy with their DLC being on the disc. You know, what's the point if it's already on the disc? Is it DLC? Well, I guess some people might think it is. Some people won't. Some people feel as though it's like it's a ripoff, it's a scam. And I talked about this, I read the articles and everything. People think it is. People think it's a scam. It's a ripoff. It's, you know, like, hey, if we can unlock these later, why do we have to pay for them? You know, and they'll come up with different excuses. They'll come up and say, look, you know, we want to make things more compatible for people and everything. The truth is, if you're going to make things more compatible, first of all, it's called patching, and second of all, it's by treating everything equally. Now, yes, I gave them credit at the end of the video, just like Angry Joe did, at the fact that they did, you know, they did list the mistakes. They did come out and list the mistakes. They did list they kind of basically admitted the mistakes, so that's a good thing. But the question is, will they finally make up for it in the future? We don't know. We don't know if they'll make up for it in the future, but the thing is, they should. But anyway, as I mentioned at the end of that video, you know, Capcom's not the only ones that have been known to do that. I mean, we can't really blame them, because I'm pretty sure there's other gaming companies and publishers out there that have done the same thing. You know, they won't admit it, but I'm pretty sure they have. You know, but here's the thing. You know, back in the day, before there was DLC, if you bought the original game, like this is one of the original cartridges of Mortal Kombat 3, right here. It doesn't say Ultimate, it doesn't say Gold. This is one of the originals. Now, if DLC existed back when this game came out, then everything you've seen with Ultimate and Gold wouldn't really matter, because Ultimate and Gold wouldn't exist. Instead, it would still be Mortal Kombat 3, except for all the characters that you got with Ultimate and all the characters you got with Gold would have all downloaded into Mortal Kombat 3 as DLCs. Am I right? Of course. But you see, back in the day, DLC was never available. So all you really had was gaming companies like Capcom and like, I guess Williams Entertainment or Midway or whatever they're called, bringing out spin-offs, additional, special editions, if you will. I mean, these guys brought out Ultimate Mortal Kombat Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, as well as Mortal Kombat 3 Gold Edition, I'm pretty sure of it. Street Fighters, you know, at fault mostly for doing it more than anybody. Street Fighter 2, if you had the original Street Fighter 2, hey, that was great. But guess what? But guess what? Sooner or later you found out, oh, there's a special edition, tournament edition, hyper edition. You know, you name it. Super edition. You know, it didn't matter whether it was on Genesis, whether it was on the 3DO, whether it was on Super Nintendo. You know, either way you were playing a Street Fighter 2 game. You were playing the game. And you see, that's the thing. You see, back in the day, companies like Capcom and Midway and Nintendo and Sega and EA and all that, they had a reason, they had a legitimate excuse as to why they had to not upgrade, but release additional special edition versions of the games, because people wanted more. People obviously they knew gamers wanted more. Gamers wanted more things to do with the Street Fighter 2 games. Gamers wanted to do more with, let's say, some of the Sonic and Mario games. People wanted more out of the Mortal Kombat games, and that's why they brought them out. But nowadays you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about special editions coming out. Like, I know a lot of people pissed and moaned and bitched and complained about Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. And I tried defending Capcom when that happened, saying it's tradition. And I guess maybe in the eyes it still is a tradition for them to do something similar. I don't know. But here's the thing. The difference is between back then in the 90s and now is you don't have to worry about that. If you've got a game coming out that everybody's looking forward to, and then you also send out word, oh, by the way, there's going to be additional content in the future, you don't have to worry about them suddenly coming out and saying, oh, by the way, that additional content, oh, we forgot to mention, it's going to be on a special edition disc. You don't have to worry about that, because most of the time they're going to come out and say it's going to be downloadable for you. When THQ started doing the SmackDown Raw games, and eventually now WWE 12-13 games, they gave you, like some fighting games are doing, some companies are doing, they gave you a pass, so that all the downloadable content, most of it anyway, would be free to download. Except, with the exception that if you bought a pre-ordered edition at a certain venue, then only then would that downloadable content cost you something. But you're lucky if it just cost you like $1, which is like 80 points. The point I'm trying to say is, DLC nowadays has a meaning. Downloadable content is there for a reason. One, most of the time, a majority of the time with certain games, you'll have free downloadable content. Because they'll give you a freaking code when you buy the game to have free online access. But all the other time, if you want additional characters or additional costumes and all that, on average it's about basically 400 to 1200 Microsoft points in my case, because I have an Xbox. That's basically what it is, between 400 and 1200 points. Between 400 and 1200 points. And that's all depending on if the costumes, colorizations, or even the characters are being bundled together in a pack. That's about it. It's like with the WWE right now, with WWE 12. Unless you had not just the online pass, but the free, I can't even think of the name right now, the fan access pass. If you had that, then all the downloadable content would be free. If you didn't, it would cost you maybe about $1 each for each character. And on average those characters each, because sometimes they'd be bundled in like in a pack of 5, a downloadable pack of 5. Sometimes those characters would be like $5 a pack, right? Well, that's basically what this is. That's basically what it is. For about, essentially, 960 points like I had to spend, you're essentially getting all that for free, which is cool. But here's the thing, what's the point of me purchasing, let's say, that fan access pass, which would allow me to get a majority except for The Rock and Miz's alternative attire? What is the point of me purchasing that fan access pass if, let's say, all those characters are on the game to begin with? What's the point? What's the point if they're already on the disc? There is no point. There is no point in purchasing it if they're already on the disc. It's like if THQ decided, okay, we're gonna have Kevin Nash and Vader and Booker T and Arn Anderson be the first Legends pack in DLC. But yet, as you're playing through the road to WrestleMania, you unlock them. What's the point? Fortunately, THQ made the right decision in having Anderson, Nash, Vader, and Booker T as part of the unlockables and not the DLCs. You see what I'm saying? If they were DLCs that were already on the disc, it wouldn't make sense. But the way they structured it, it made sense. I mean, back in the day, if they were doing it like this, then yeah, they'd have to bring out probably WWE 12 Special Edition or the WrestleMania Edition with more content, more additional characters. Your Divas pack, your Legends pack, and whatever else would all be on that WrestleMania edition. The point is, you don't need to worry about having a special edition now because of DLC in the reason it's there. But again, like I mentioned in my previous video, and as everybody's pointed out, if you have DLC on the disc already, what's the point of there being DLC? There is no point. There is no point for you to purchase that content if it's already there, no matter what people say. I mean, back in the 90s, they had an excuse for it. There was no DLC back in the 90s. Nowadays, they have an excuse, and it's called DLC. There is DLC. The point I'm making, folks, is cartridges these had a reason. There was no DLC. Nowadays, there is. So if I'm a gaming company, we got Capcom, Namco, Nintendo, Sega, EA, THQ, Midway, NetherRealms. If I'm them, and I know that I have download, and I know I have something called DLC that I can take advantage of, then I take advantage of it. It's like, to quote Angry Joe, if I know my game's going to be good, and I know people are going to support my game, I want them to support it post-release, not pre-release and current release. Post is my goal, not pre or current. But hopefully some companies will start learning some lessons and realize that, oh, by the way, what we're doing with the cartridge way, nowadays we got to do it the DLC way. And again, there's a reason for downloadable content. So that's all I'm going to say. I probably didn't make much sense to you guys, but if you want to comment down below, let me know what you think. I'll talk to y'all later.